Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, August 25th, and welcome to another episode of Style by Stevie. Our very first special guest that is joining us is a musician, actor, and poet, and I'm excited to have him here in the dollhouse with us. Larry Guidry joins me. And then we have our girl, Hypnotic Skincare. She's going to be joining me at 4. So I'm waiting on Larry to get here so that we can get this show started, Fashion Dolls. All right, we're going to get him in here. Let me go ahead and share this live with him so that we can dive right into this conversation. You guys, hi, Fraternal. Today we wanted to do something a little bit different than what I would normally do. My hair is always down, so I said, you know what? Let's go with an updo today. So without further ado, let's get into it with our very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, Larry Guidry. Hello.
What's up, everybody? How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Welcome to the dollhouse, TGIF.
Yes, yes. Glad to be here. Thank you for allowing me to be on the platform and learn and discuss and chop it up and have fun.
Yes. So before we get into this interview, how has 2023 been for you so far?
I ain't gonna lie. First of all, can I cuss?
Go ahead.
Okay, just want to make sure I'm appropriate. 2020, 2023, 2022, and 2021 has been a fucking, honestly, a roller coaster for me. People have died. Of course, we went through the COVID season.
Yeah.
I'm a school teacher by trade, so I've lost some students. Um,
Sorry.
yeah, it's been a spiritual journey for me, but guess what? One thing that I do know and understand is that in order for you to get to where you need to go, you're gonna have to go through some real shit to climb to the mountaintop. So it has been a whirlwind, but I'm here and I'm blessed and I'm sitting here talking with you today. So I got nothing but to smile.
Yes. All right, so let's get into your story, your background now. It says here that you grew up you were born in Kansas City, Kansas, right? But you were raised in Crawley, Los Angeles. So tell us a little bit about that. And did you always knew that you wanted to get into acting?
Crowd, Louisiana, actually. But yeah, I was born in Kansas City, Kansas. This is the crazy part. I had no ambition of ever being an actor. I actually started out as a writer, a recording artist, and my grandfather gave me a quote. He said that when you get an opportunity, you don't take it the first time, it's a mistake. But if the opportunity comes again and you don't take it, it's a regret. And so I was able to, acting for me came to me. It was a calling for me. And I just kind of use it as a platform to inspire people, regardless of age, race, whatever obstacle may stand in your way. And it kind of reached out to me and pulled me in. And I'm just blessed to be able to do that. I'm just blessed to be able to do what I do and try to encourage and inspire other people who are creative in their lives to do the same. But yes, I didn't never have no ambition of acting, and here I am sitting and talking with, celebrities now. So, yeah.
So who are some of your favorite actors growing up or musicians? Because you're also a musician as well, too.
Yes. Man, I was deeply inspired by Eminem, Lupe Fiasco, Nas, Jay-Z, Tupac, Tribe Called Quest, Lauryn Hill. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. I'm an 80s baby, so I rock with the 80s and the 90s baby when hip hop was hip hop. Some of my favorite actors and actresses, Kathy Bates, Denzel Washington, Natalie Portman, um, uh, Samuel L. Jackson, Michael B. Jordan, Anthony Hopkins, Antonio Banderas. I can go on and on and on. Film has always been actually, let me give you a little bit of backstory. So my mom I'm not your typical, I grew up in the hood, but I'm not your typical, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in a two-parent household where education was taught. I saw people hustling. I saw people getting killed. I saw certain things that happened in our neighborhood culturally. But my parents was making sure, we're going to make sure that, our son grows up in a very educated household. So even though I was kind of exposed to some of that stuff, I was also sheltered from it in a way. And film was my outlet. And that's the crazy part about this, that film and theater and the arts was always a part of that outlet. And the first series to this day, I will debate anybody on any platform. X-Files is one of the dopest series ever. Okay, Scully, Mulder, the whole plot is definitely dope. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Now, my next question for you is, what do you enjoy most about acting? Because you've also done some commercials as well, too.
Yes, I was blessed, and I give all glory and honor to God and the universe for being able to align myself with people to get to the next level. I just shot my first national commercial yesterday with ADT, and so that was a hell of an experience. Yeah, doing commercial work and doing TV work, film work. And actually, I had some opportunities coming to Atlanta. Went to Atlanta for a second, and was out there. And I'm sorry, answer your question again. I'm sorry, I tend to ramble. So, what's your question again? I'm sorry.
I was saying, what do you enjoy most about acting?
Yes, it's being able to. One thing about acting that I realize is it's about giving. It's about empathy. It's about being able to take yourself outside yourself and step in somebody else's shoes and tell their story. I didn't think I was never really a theater guy, but my first theater play, I was blessed to be able to do that. And it really showed me how much you can impact people on a different level. So for me, one thing that I really, really enjoy about it is telling a story of somebody else and hopefully impacting people in a positive way.
Now, what do you think can make a role challenging when going into acting?
Ironic that you say that. I'm preparing for a play right now. We're in rehearsals, and I'm playing a 16-year-old kid who has his character. His name is Riley, and it's called Is God Is. His character is very complex. He is very withdrawn from the real world, and there's some issues within his dynamic. But what can make it difficult is to find the relevance to who you are as a person, because sometimes you play characters that you don't even can relate to, and so trying to go into the unknown, that's where your research comes in and your character assessment and things of that nature, and especially if this character is has certain tendencies that you don't have, you have to kind of go research that and try to identify with it as best as you can.
My next question for you is music related. Are there any singers that you admire? And if so, what are some of their favorite qualities about them that you like?
I love Lady Gaga.
Love her.
I love Lady Gaga. If I would ever to have my match dream, collaboration, it would be Lady Gaga. I love Elton John. And the reason why I love those two artists in particular, and artists like that, is because I always tell people, look, you got 24 hours in a fucking day. The Bible talks about how, life is a vapor of smoke, and it goes that fast. And so to be able to live life and understand how short life is, you gotta be yourself, man. And those two artists in particular have molded themselves and was pretty much like, I don't give a fuck what you think about me. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna be myself. And that's what I love about those two artists and people like that.
We got a question for you from Alan Yankee. He wants to know, was acting your first love, or did you fall to grow in love with it?
Acting, actually, first of all, thank you for your question. And thank you for turning in. actually, acting fell in love with me. I actually started off as an artist, a music artist. I started off as a recording artist and started to write music. In a certain way, music is a form of acting. It's just voiceover, but you have to play a certain character. But acting found me, and I fell in love with it. It's kind of like, when that person that try to holler at you, slide in your DMs, it's like, hey, but you're not really feeling them like that. And then you start to get to know the person, and you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? That's everything I ever wanted if I would have gave it a chance. So, honestly, I pushed acting out the way. Like, I got an opportunity about 10 years ago to do some major things, but I didn't really take it seriously. And then it came around again, and it found me, and here I am. So,
Now, what skills have you learned that can help you effectively as a musician in the business?
networking, doing what I'm doing now, sitting down with other creatives and learning. Man, the most fun. I'm a simple guy. I think life is very simple. I think humans make it very complex. The
Absolutely.
thing is, it's just being open and honest. You ain't gotta agree with what everybody believes, but if you can have a mindset to walk into every situation and learn something from everybody because you understand that everybody got something everybody brings something to the table. I've learned so much from everybody that I come in contact with. That's my best skill. I try to, even though that's probably hard to believe me doing all this talking, but I walk into a room of new people and try to listen twice as much as I talk because I know that it's something I can learn in the moment.
Now, we live in a day and age where it is all about good relationships and great rapport. How important is it for you as an actor to establish great rapport with your scene partner so that the scene can be absolutely amazing and executed perfectly?
Honestly, it's the same thing as it's relationship. Acting is all about building relationships with your characters, building relationships with people. Me, everybody has their method of how they do that. Me, I go in and I just have a ball. I have fun. I'm not I get to work when I need to get to work, but I try to build a connection. Film and theater is a little different, but in film especially, you have a short window. So I go right in on set, say hi to everybody. I've always been taught to treat to treat from the CEO to the janitor, treat everybody the same. You know what I'm saying? I've always been taught that. So to have that kind of continuity with people on set and be able to shake hands and smile with people regardless of what their status is, to build that is what makes magic that's not in the script. You know what I'm saying? And that's my process of how I do it. Just building relationships, just smiling, shaking hands, being normal.
Let me see. We got one more question. Since acting found you, do you consider yourself a musician who acts and an actor who is a musician? Great question.
Great question. Thank you for tuning in. Awesome question. I consider myself a creative, which
Mm.
means that I'm just not in a box and say, well, I'm just an actor, I'm just an artist. I'm a creative, which means that you put me in any situation, I'm gonna figure out how to make it blossom or make it colorful. Or I believe God or whatever you feel as the creator, whatever you believe. I think they are the creator of the universe is an artist themselves. I mean, if you look at nature of how it's built and how we're built as human beings, there got to be some type of rapper or painter or something to that effect. So I consider myself a creator.
And a lot of artists are like that. They don't like to be put in a category just in general. Like Prince was one of them. I love Prince. I'm a big Prince fan. Rest his soul. He did not like to be put in a box. Like people were just trying to figure out what style or direction of music are you going in, especially with your style. Like, I mean, he was so innovative. You just can't put a label on it. So everybody should feel free to express their own individuality. Which leads me to my next question, since we're talking about Prince.
Right.
Now, which film or theater production inspired you the most growing up? What film or theater piece inspired you?
Wow. Wow. You know, I, I think the film that really inspired me was Lord of the Rings. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. And I know people say, man, them damn things is 3 hours long a piece, but the storyline Peter Jackson, J.L. Tolkien, who wrote the book, the plot of it is so great because it showed the relevance of what we find insignificant is sometimes is the same thing that may save our lives. And the story, in a nutshell, the story is about these creatures in this mythology, this mythical world that really nobody never pays attention to. And he has the weight of the world on his shoulders to literally save the world. And so now he's put on this pedestal and he has to face these unsurmountable obstacles to get there. And I look at each and every human being. If you look, and the reason why that's, Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite movies because it's the message in it that when we feel a certain type of way that the world gives a shit, that we matter. The people that we come in contact with that sometimes we don't think we matter in somebody's lives. You know what I'm saying? So Lord of the Rings, definitely. Shout out to Lord of the Rings.
Now, my next question for you is: do you have any weaknesses that you're you're working on actively to improve on, acting wise?
Oh, absolutely. This is what I tell people, man. I'm 100% me. What makes me, I believe, a professional actor is I decided one day in my life, my personal life, that I was tired of being where I was. And where I was at that certain time, and I'm still in the process of growing, that when you get tired of being who you are in a certain place, that mindset caters to everything else in your life. So when I decided to stop, when I started to hold myself accountable for my success, for who I was as a father, for who I was as an artist, or whatever I was, that's when I really started to grow. And I tell people, man, I was like, whatever you want to do or get into, work on yourself as a person, because that's the true measure. Because God has blessed us with a unique fingerprint, and whatever you're trying to do, nobody else can do it. Only you can do it. You see what I'm saying? So for me, working on myself is also working on my craft. And when I work on myself every single day, I become a better actor. And so that just working on myself every day and my flaws.
Now, you are the ultimate hyping it because you're not only an actor, but you're a musician as well, too. What is it about music that makes you feel passionate?
It's kind of like the same feeling that you get when you step out on that theater and you don't break the fourth wall. And, you get that feeling that, man, when you walked off stage, there was something that you gave out there that somebody that you didn't know, but you touched them. You know what I'm saying? And music to me has always been a passion and a love of mine because the way you say stuff, the melody and the creative process, I've always fell in love with. And just to be able to say, to use words as a spell to uplift. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't ever knock a man's hustle or anybody's hustle, but I think words are very powerful. And especially in our community, in the Black community, where we just have so much disgust going on with us murdering each other and killing each other and a lot of social and economic deficiencies that we have, I think music plays a vital role in the reconstruction of how we deal with each other in our relationships. And music, when I first started music, man, I was real political. I was like the new Public Enemy. I was on that shit. And then I had to just learn how to just, communicate to my people in a certain way because I'm all about my people at the end of the day. But in a nutshell, man, just using music as a platform to uplift and to love and to use it as a point of emphasis to be like, man, you matter. And especially if you're Black, you matter.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, I told you we was going to get into some trivia today. So I'm going to test your
Yeah.
knowledge on
All
Black
right.
actors. We're
All
going to get
right.
into some Black actor trivia. But
Okay.
before we do that, we're going to get into something we like to call the Rapid Five. Now, you have to tell us 5 things that you can't live without. It can be your favorite drink, your favorite football team, your favorite TV show, whatever you like. What are 5 things that you can't live without?
5 things that I can't live without. Can it be people?
Go ahead.
5 things I can't live without. I can't live without my children. My children are my why. Why I do everything for legacy. I can't live without the gym. Work out 6 days a week. I can't live without my juicer. I can't live without the creation and the creator. And I cannot live without my Kansas City Chiefs. We got 2 Super Bowl rings, working on the third. I'm in the city of Pettit, Mahomes. So, and I know y'all from Atlanta, and I grew up. I'm a Houdat fan. So sorry for all you guys out there, Houdat fans. But yeah, those are the 5 things, man, that keep me going.
All right, that's his rapid fire. We're about to get into some black actor trivia, fashion dolls, and you guys that are watching as well too can chime in and let me know also too. All right, so here we go. Here's the first question:
Oh
which
boy.
husband and wife appear in Spike Lee's Jungle Fever and Do the Right Thing? Is it Lawrence Fishburne and Gian Torres, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee?
Isaac Davis and Ruby Dee.
That is it. And in
Yeah.
addition to their work in the film, they were involved in the civil rights movement as well too. Did you guys know? Just a little FYI. All right. They delivered the eulogy at Malcolm X's funeral. Did you guys know that? So yeah, FYI. Here's the next one. Still on Spike Lee. Groundbreaking director Spike Lee has dealt with issues in the African American community in both comedies and dramas. Which of these is not a Spike Lee film? Is it Boys in the Hood, He Got Game, or Miracle at St. Anthony?
It is the first one. That was Boys in the Hood was directed by John Singleton.
That's correct. Yeah. All right. Here's the next one. Which film did Sidney Poitier not star in? Is it In the Heat of the Night, The Definite Ones, or The Man?
Ooh, I know he starred in The Heat of the Night, so I'm going to take a 50-50 limbo and say B, The Definite Ones. He didn't star in that one.
It's The Man. The
The
Man
Man.
is a 1972 film about an African-American senator who unexpectedly becomes president, and it stars James Earl Jones. God rest his soul.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
the 1958's The Definite Ones paired Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis together as escaped prisoners.
Cool. Learn something new every day.
Here's the next one. Which actor is not from Chicago? Is it Sherry Shepherd, Jennifer Hudson, Bernie Mac, or Debbie Morgan?
I know it's either Debbie Morgan or the first person you said. I know the other two. I know Bernie Mac is from Chicago, and I think Jennifer Hudson is also from Chicago. So I'm going to go with the first one. First one, right?
The first one is Sherry. Sherry's from Chicago. Sherry and Jennifer are from Chicago.
So Debbie Morgan.
Debbie Morgan. Yes.
Debbie Morgan. Where's Debbie Morgan from? You know?
She is from North Carolina. I'm in the Carolinas, from North Carolina.
Gotcha.
Yes. And we know her from Eve's Bayou with Megan Good and Lynn Whitfield. So,
yeah. Yep.
All right. Last question. Which play by an African American writer has not been made into a movie? Is it Diver Mad Black Woman, Fences, or Blues for Mr. Charlie?
It's the last one, Blues.
Yes.
Right? Yep.
It is 1964, critically acclaimed by James Baldwin, one of my favorite writers, based on the passing of Emmett Till that has been, and it's yet to make up to the Silverstein. Now, August Wilson's Fences is based on his childhood growing up biracial in Pittsburgh. So I definitely would like to see that one made into a movie. So.
Well, Fences. Denzel Washington did a version of Fences, which is really good. I gave that 2 thumbs up. Of course, it was the transition from theater to film is a little different, so it's more monologue-ish in its prime. So yeah.
Yeah, and that is your black actor trivia, fashion doll. All right. So, what is next with the year being half out? We're still in 2023. We're going through August. August is about to be out. We're going into September, October. What is next for E. Larry Guidry? What can you predict for your career in 2024 for the new year?
Honestly, it's growing. It's doing things like this. Honestly, regardless of where I'm put, I always want to be an inspiration to somebody. Honestly, I've seen people come and go in this industry, and sometimes a lot of people's heart's not in the right place. Listen, like right now, I don't mind being vulnerable. I stay in a 1 bedroom apartment, and I'm a single father, and I could not make another check a day in my life. But as long as I'm an inspiration and a motivation to somebody, and maybe I touch somebody that day,
Yeah,
um, hopefully that I've done my job of why I'm here. So in my outlook in life, it's always to motivate people. It's always to be inspirational. And whatever platform they may come by, music, acting, whatever platform I'm on to be able to share my story, it's always the end game for me is to be able to motivate and to be the very best I can be and to lead by example.
absolutely. My last question for you, and then we want to take some questions from the audience. How do you find that balance with fatherhood? Because I know it's difficult with you being on set, being away from the kids, and they understand that daddy's got to go to work, daddy's got to work. This is what he plans to do. How do you find that balance with being an actor and a father?
I don't sleep. No, you know, I got, my father, I'm two generations from being a slave. Like my grandfather was a slave. My dad used to pick cotton. And so I understand that if I don't learn the balance, if I don't understand my why, and I'm not able that if I don't understand the value of sacrifice and understanding that there's going to be some sacrifice and some things that I don't really have a social life per se. Like I don't go out and party. I don't do any of that because I understand my end game. So if I'm not spending time with my kids, I'm in a book or I'm watching a movie. Um, I meditate, I exercise, and I always try to keep my mind in a place to where when it's time for me to act, it's time for me to act. And when it's time for me to be dad, it's time for me to be dad. Because when I'm dad, I don't check my phone. I don't worry about, anything else. I spend time with my kids and give them the time that they need. And I think for me, being organized, having a schedule, being on point, understanding, having a routine has really helped me balance, uh, you know, things in my life to help me continue to grow.
And that's what it's all about in this business is being able to take care of yourself as well as your loved ones too. Like my mom will tell me all the time, don't wear yourself thin, making sure that everyone around you is taken care of. Make sure that you're taken care of as well too. Self-care comes first. And that's why we have to make it a priority of being in this business because you give so much of yourself to the people and to your supporters and followers of whoever. So you got to make sure that number one is taken care of. Now we have a question for you. Let me see. Since being a musician is about evoking emotion, how do you determine if the role fits you?
Sometimes you don't. You don't know if it fits you. Um, I've auditioned for some things, um, and casting was like, well, you may not fit that role, but I got another part in the role. So sometimes you don't know. Um, a part of the process of making a feature film, a theater production is that there's certain parts like casting, directing. And you may think when you read the script or the part that you're auditioning for that may fit you, but casting may come back and be like, well, you may fit this better. And you may not think that you fit that part, but once you get into it and you start to see, the broader spectrum of it, he's like, oh, okay, now I understand. So sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you just go with it and you find it along the way.
Absolutely. What is some advice that you would give to single fathers out here that are looking to go after their passion? They have the kids and they're taking care of everything. What advice would you give to other men out here who are single fathers and that are in the acting world as well?
Man, number one, make your children your why. When I don't feel like doing shit, when I don't feel like getting up, when I don't feel like going to rehearsal, when I don't feel like doing lines, I remember of who's watching me. And let me tell you something. So many people, I've gotten the success that I've had, and with people watching me grind and say, man, where do you get the energy from? I look at my two kids and say, man, when you got two mouths to feed, it's a different type of hustle. It's a different type of grind. I may not be the smartest person in the room, but I always outwork you. So for a single father, man, who's out there, number one, don't give a fuck about what people say about you. Number one, if it's in your heart to do, go get it, hands down. And number two is make your kids your why. You know, because there's gonna be some times when you ain't gonna want to do shit, but you got to get up off your ass. You got to make it happen. And so make your children your why. And one thing I would say too, make your children a part of your process. Like my kids come on set with me and they see me work and they see me in the process because I'm teaching them this is what you have to do in order to be successful. That this is the work that you got to put in. This is the time that you got to put in. This is what it looks like. So make your children a part of your process.
All right. And that goes to anybody out here in this business. If you are trying to become an actor or host a platform like myself, it's a lot that goes into it. And it's about perseverance and dedication. Thinking about the ones, that are around you as well. To your family, key thing. I mean, my mom has been has had a big impact on me all throughout this platform, encouraging me as well as the support, as well as I Yankee. I see you. And so many others that are watching and supporting me behind the scenes as well. That's what it's about. Now, what's next for you in the future? What can you predict for 2024? Because I know the writer's strike is going on.
Yep.
So unfortunate that happened. But I will say this, it needed to happen because a lot of actors are on set for long hours and they put in the work and they're giving their all and it's not being precipitated back, especially actors and directors of color.
Absolutely, man. 2023, I encourage my acting, peers, continue to create. This is something that, outside of your control that just happened. I'm glad it happened because, us as creators, we work hard to do what we do and we want to be paid as such. So, shout out to all those out there who's supporting the strike. Just keep creating, create. If you're not filming right now, write. I'm working on my second script. I've already have one. So just keep creating, stuff that you can do at home. If you're not working at the moment, get scripts online, self-tapes. Everything's about self-taping now. So improve your skill set. You know what I'm saying? Get new headshots. Look up resumes. There's resources out there that you can use that are absolutely, totally free to sharpen your craft in this segment of kind of being stagnant.
Let me see. We have another question for you. What advice would you give your kids that you didn't get as a child? Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh, good question. Great question. Steve Jobs said, do what you love to do and you never work a day in your life. I grew up in a household that we were always taught to work, we grind, but we were never taught work smarter, not harder. So I grew up with a skill set of you're not going to beat me, but the thing I didn't realize in the process of that you can exhaust yourself in that process. And like you brought up, you have to be balanced. You just can't go 1,000% all the time. Like, look, I'm gonna be real. Man, I shot yesterday in my commercial. I shot 12 hours yesterday, and I went to a bar, and I had 3 Long Islands, so I got lit a little bit. So, but not lit enough to where I had to, come to work. But still, really being balanced. That's the simplest as I can give you. Being balanced, having time with yourself, doing your work, and when you're in the moment, being organized and said, okay, I'm gonna arrange myself for this time and I'm gonna go 100% at it. And when you let that go, when that happens, let that go and move on to the next one. So being balanced is probably something that I probably should have been taught early on.
Absolutely. Because you're always going to be on the road. You're always going to be traveling. You're always going to be on set. It's a lot that goes into this. And that's to anybody who wants to join this business or become an actor, become a model, become an artist. It's a lot that goes into it. So that would be my advice to anybody as well too, is to make sure that you're gonna have to make some sacrifices, but along the way make sure you have a good team behind you. And my guest that I had on just the other day, Corey Sully, said the same exact thing as well too.
Mm-hmm. Facts. That's another thing too, man. Like when you start to progress, people sometimes are going to try to pull your coattail. They just want to ride you, they want to get on because of clout. But you got to understand understand that most leaders, most people who are going to another level, everybody can't come with you. You know, your day ones can't come with you. And, you know, unfortunately it's sad, but you got to cut some people off, or you got to keep people at a distance because you don't want, I look at this shit as God's work, man. Like, this is not about me. I'm just a vessel that's being used to encourage other people. So understanding that, you're 100% right, man. Like, you gotta surround yourself with people that are good people that's gonna not only help you in your process, but also hold you accountable
Yes.
for what you do. So yeah, having great people around you too is also a motivating factor. I have a great support system. My mom supports me. My whole family supports me. They get on my nerves sometimes because they ask me all the time about certain things that I have to do. But I love them to death, man. And when you have a great support system, that helps as well.
Absolutely. I was on a budget. I didn't have no Long Island money. So I did have a short town though. LOL. And that is from Island Yankee.
Salute, man. Salute to you.
You're gonna have to make sacrifices in this business in order to succeed.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, you just I mean, and that's in any business, anything that you do, you're gonna have to make sacrifices, and that's what separates you from the mediocre, the good, the great, and the phenomenal. When you're phenomenal, you separate yourself from everybody else. I'm a big fan of Eric Thomas, and Eric Thomas talks about, you know, everybody want to be successful, but everybody runs away when they see success dressed in overalls because it's hard work, you know. And so you know, and especially in this business. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, being black is probably the most advantage that you do have, but that don't mean that people gonna hand you shit. You know what I'm saying? I'll just be real with y'all, man. I was the only black dude on set yesterday, and the set that I was on yesterday had to have at least 50, 60 people. Easily. I'm the only black dude on the set, right? But I went in there and I conducted myself with professionalism, and I had hella fun. It was probably one of the greatest experiences that I had. So when you're like, you know, when you're going through this process, man, have fun too. Like, just don't make it all about work, work, work. Like, have fun, laugh, you know, and involve people that you trust around the process because it will just raise your vibration like all over the place.
Now, my next question for you is we're seeing a shift starting to happen with actors of color now creating their own content, now going and directing, writing, and producing. What else can you expect in the future for 2024 for the next generation?
I am so excited. First of all, man, if Jordan Peele sees this, dude, put me on, okay? I'm a big Jordan Peele fan. Here's why. In the black community, when it comes to horror, we've always been stereotyped. Okay, black people have always been the people that either get killed first or do something stupid in a movie, and not really been given recognition. And I think Jordan Peele opened that door for people of kind of like my mind to be in science fiction, to be in horror, to not be stereotyped as this, you know, ghetto, trashy, you know, type people. That we can be sophisticated, but also tell stories of, you know, zombies and shit like that. You know, just scientific type shit. To be able to be a part of that. So, you know, moving forward, man, I think the industry is just diversified. I love the new, if you haven't seen it yet, Candyman. I love the new Candyman and the spin that they put on that. So I wish that African American kids would get more into science fiction and have a like mind of science fiction and of Stranger Things too is dope. And so yeah, I say all that to say, man, being diverse in horror, science fiction, and all that good stuff, hopefully to come more in 2024 in the future.
And I'd like to see that too. It's going to take a while because we are now pushing those doors open with the writer's strike and the actors strike going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see that happen. Now they're saying this thing could last all the way up until 2024. I'd like to hope not, but some of the stuff that is coming out that is being said, like, oh, you're gonna wish you're gonna have to get in the car, all sorts of things. You don't ever wish that. And I think it was what's his name? So Darius Blaine that did a post about that as well too. You have two questions. Marcus Head, who is the owner of the Good Head podcast, he wants to know, where are you located?
I'm located in Kansas City, Missouri, my good man. Kansas City, Missouri. Show me state.
Now let me see the next question. Since you are a musician and actor, have you ever thought about writing in music?
Woo! Musicals are a beast. I stay in my lane. I do what I do best. Um, I've been doing music going on about 8 years now, and I've only been doing acting for about a year and some months. I haven't been doing it that long enough. I've had some pretty great success for the short of time that I've been in acting, but musicals I haven't thought about yet. But you never know how the universe works. Now you put that seed in my mind, so maybe that's something that I may consider in the future.
And I definitely could see that as well with you writing your own content. Again, we're seeing the rise of Black actors, Black writers,
Facts.
just in general, get out here and produce their own content. While they're
Facts.
not set, they're now starting to do their own thing.
Facts. No, absolutely. I encourage anybody out there who's listening, man. And I know some people that's listening to your show and that constantly listen to your show who are very brilliant, who have the talent, right? And this is where I kind of go beyond the fact of it's just not about doing the craft. It's about taking what you have and saying, yes, I'm worthy of that. I deserve that. And the reason why I didn't take acting seriously when I first was given the opportunity is because I didn't really, it wasn't about no money. It just started off as a hobby, right? And so I didn't chase it. I'm in the process of understanding you don't chase, you attract, right? So I wish there's somebody here who maybe is a writer or an actor who want to start taking acting classes. Just start taking acting classes, and you never know. There's a guy from Atlanta. His name is Kurt Yu. He's an Asian guy. He has a degree in tech. And if I show you a picture of him, you'd be like, this guy's an actor? He just was featured in the new Black Widow film, okay? And had no ambition of acting. So I hope somebody out there that's listening to this that I know a seed has been planted either to act or to write or to start rapping. And listen, guys, I couldn't rap to a beat. I started rapping at 26 years old. Never rapped before then. I was fucking horrible when I first started, all right? And you listen to the stuff that I have now, and it's just, I cannot sell a record to this day, but it's not about the money. It's not about that. It's about accomplishing something and passing down something that is more valuable than any materialistic thing to me. So, yeah.
And let me see. We got another question for you. Seeing that you are a creative, what lane are you going to create next? Great question.
Great question. Thank you for answering the question. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I wake up every morning and I have this sign above my bed that says "Win the day," because all of us in any level, we going through some shit or in the middle of some shit or just coming out of some shit, right? And I always in my life, I learned how to recycle my pain. So the shit that I go through or the challenges and the struggles that I go through, I take that stuff and I write about it or I put it into my music, and that's my outlet. So, you can go through a situation, every day. So honestly, I don't know. God gives me, somewhat of this vision that I can kind of follow. So, I might go home after this and writing a song based off of you guys' questions and just being inspirational. You know what I'm saying? So it's like day by day by day. But I am in the middle of writing a couple of screenplays. I am doing some about 2 or 3 productions right now. So it's just keeping on my toes, keeping working, keeping that machine going.
You guys just have to stay tuned. Do we have any more questions for Larry? All right. No other questions? Well, you guys know what time it is. It is almost 4 p.m. time for our second interview for today. Joining me, we have our girl Chastity Simpson. She is the owner of Hypnotic Skincare. She is going to be joining me coming up next. And we're going to get into my favorite thing because you guys know that I have been on this beauty ritual lately, all sorts of body care. So make sure you guys tune in at 4. We are going to be chopping it up with my girl, Chastity. She is the owner of Hypnotic Skincare. So, are there any words of encouragement or gems that you would like to leave to your supporters and just people in general who are watching our conversation? Because you spit so many gems.
Man, at the end of it, um, every day you wake up and every day you lay down, ask yourself, did I do what I could today to make myself better and the world a better place? It's that simple. You know, if you have a dream, go aspiration, go get it. Don't let nobody discourage you. I don't care how many people are in your ear. And the best advice that I could ever give, sometimes you got to be your own cheerleader. When nobody else is around you and you're not hearing the positive motivation that you need, sometimes you got to be your own, got to give yourself your own pep talk. And if you want something, go get it, hands down. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't. I trust me, guys. And when I say this, I say this with all my heart. If I'm able to do what I'm doing now, if I can do that, anybody can do what I'm doing. Trust me. So go get it, stay smiling, and fuck the haters.
All right, fashion dolls, you guys heard that, ladies and gentlemen. E. Larry Gidry, thank you so much for coming here to the Dollhouse. Let everyone know where they can follow you and check you out. And this won't be the last you guys will hear from him. I'm going to bring him back so that we can catch up further along.
Yes, so you can follow me on Instagram at Larry the Talent. That's LarryTheTalent, Larry the Talent on Instagram. On Facebook, you can follow me as Wize, Wize Gidry. Hit me up. You know, I do educational stuff as well with kids. I've been a teacher for 14 years. Um, and so I love education. I love teaching kids. So if you have kids out there who are looking for some supplements or any type of anything like that, please reach out to me and, let's chop it up. Let's learn together.
All right, fashion dolls. There you have it. Wize Gidry, thank you so much for coming here to the Dollhouse. I had such a great time with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Looking forward to working with you again.
You too. And this interview, the first one, will be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime. So you guys can head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube and check out this interview as well as this week's past interview. And the next up and coming interview will be there as well too, with our girl Chastity, Hypnotic Skincare. I love you all and I will see you at 4. Go refresh and come back.